We're burning up the room. Now coming up for air. Whenever I'm with you, fire, fire.
You're standing in the back, right? Then you look like this, you're like, man, this is a big stage.
Yeah, you feel like we did something big here.
Every December, the coast becomes more than just a place. It becomes our reward after a long year. It's where the desert meets the Atlantic, and where thousands of us come to feel something real, to breathe, to reset, to belong. At its core, Sound of Summer is not just about the music. It's about being young, being present, being alive. But don't mistake that feeling for silence. Music is our heartbeat. From world-class DJs to high-energy crowd moments, every sound brings us closer. It creates a rhythm that turns strangers into family. This is our decade of dance.
Sound of Summer means the biggest event in Namibia for the year.
Growing up as a kid, so some context, like I used to sneak into Sound of Summer. I'm sorry if you're watching this, guys, but I used to sneak into Sound of Summer because I was too young to attend it. So the first few, I'll kind of like make my way in. And it was always just that party of the summer. Like every time after like you finish exams and like you'd be done for the year, everyone would look forward to it and like be like, yo, what are your plans for December? Two things, going to Swakop and going to Sound of Summer. Beach Bash, yeah, a bit, but Sound of Summer was always that penultimate event. So it was kind of like a full circle moment for me to be able to like work on this because it's, yeah, arguably, I don't even think you can say arguably anymore. It's the biggest event of the year and in the country, you know? It's what everybody looks forward to.
It's the biggest event in terms of the artists we bring in, the stages we set up, the amount of people that rock up. If you go through the year and you listen to event goers talking, they are all, every year they are all excited for Sound of Summer. They're waiting for Sound of Summer because for them it means the end of the summer.
Now coming up for air. It's in the way we move. Fire, fire. Yeah, he waving a room. So won't you meet me there? Whenever I'm with you. Fire, fire. We're burning up the.
It's the one event that everyone looks forward to during the year. It's the biggest event Namibia has to offer. And I feel like, especially after last year, we've made it the event to go to.
I think I've been to quite a lot of events, I've shot a lot of events, but nothing compared to the scale of Sound of Summer. Like people, the stage, you know, these little events, they do their stuff, but they don't have the stage. They don't do stage the way, you know, the people at Plug and Play do it. You know, I'm not saying because, you know, I job there, but I see it, and yeah, the stage is really what sets Sound of Summer apart from like all the other events.
I've never attended any Sound of Summer before. My friends would always attend it and they would always speak so highly of it. And last year, being on set was really amazing for me because I got to see what goes into getting this festival up.
I think Sound of Summer is like, it's like Namibia's year-end function. It's almost like that's the one thing in December that everybody looks forward to going to. It's like the biggest party there is in terms of the electronic dance music scene. So I just feel like it's a big thing you look forward to in your holidays, in the time off.
The biggest festival of Namibia. I've always wanted to be a part of it, from the production side and the management side. And about 2 years ago, we did the production on the Coke stage. And from there, we've just been building. And last year, we did the full production, and the year before that as well.
I've worked with Namib Rage for a while. That time I was with Michael Jazz. We did Sound of Summer. we first did, Summer was divided in two. It was Beach Bash and then Sound of Summer. So we first had the smaller one, which was Beach Bash, which was a smaller event than Sound of Summer itself. Yeah, it was good. It was a small stage with just a little bit of lighting, but the crowd pulled up though. The second stage was always Sound of Summer, which was bigger. It was more sound. The crowd was small because it was a bigger venue.
This is going to sound mad cliche, but I think the thinking behind it was just go big or go home, because this was the decade of dance celebration. It was the 10th anniversary of Sound of Summer. So it had to be like, we're here, we've been here for 10 years, we're proudly Namibian festival and curators of this festival, and we need to show Namibians and just the world that Namibia actually has dope-ass visuals and dope-ass stage, dope-ass sound, dope-ass production, all in all, you know. I think this was something that we had to prove ourselves and also prove to people that we can actually pull off world-class production.
To do something completely different, something we've never done before. So we started the design process around April, played around with a few ideas, and just wanted to do something massive, something Namibia has never seen before. And we did that by incorporating about 292 panels of LED screen.
Sound setup, we had our WPC on the main stage. We did, I think, 14 aside. And that's quite a nice system. We had a Castell sub array, which is a cool way that Martin likes to deploy their subs. Obviously, we had our reverse-facing ones. If anybody in the audience is wondering, I can tell you about this. To make them cardioid so that the sub energy goes forward and not forward and backwards like they naturally behave. This helps because we had a stage right behind that massive walkway for the second stage. So we need to control some of the energy, especially the low end, in order to supply these 3 stages. We did a lot of sound mapping management, making sure we are not interfering with each other and giving each audience their experience in a fair way.
It was exciting. It was exciting being part of that. Oh, we're watching it. We're selling X amount of tickets each day leading up to the event. Then we brought out the Black Friday bundle special, and that flew. And then after that, we had another, with the last drop of the tickets, we were like hoping to get the same amounts that we've been getting, and we got it. That was a very exciting part because we didn't do that prior years. We weren't so involved with the ticketing, but this year, and it was a learning curve. What to expect when to release specials, when to release the Black Friday, when to release the bundle passes, because now we can go back and we can go check, oh, so these are the dates that people are buying.
So the process that we put in place is actually to make the bar service a bit more efficient, exactly. So we put that process in place so that while there's someone that makes the transaction and then there's someone that makes the drinks. So before you even, like, I call it a 10-second service. So before you you find someone at the bar, you know, trying to hit on whatsoever, you already have your drink in 10 seconds, and then it's just to get the service flow a bit more easier for customers to not wait long and for us to move on to the next customer.
The area of the dance floor is quite big. So if you just have a few lights there, then it's dark and you want that wow, like so now the light goes on, there's like the whole beach is lit up. As well as the second stage, we also put a bit more effort in this year, a lot more effort actually. To just make sure none of the stages are like dialed down. Both stages should be on par, and when you look at it, you mustn't be like, okay, this is the second stage, or this is like the B team. You must be like, okay, cool, this is a stage on its own and this is a stage on its own. I think we did accomplish that this year.
The red line. Now we're talking about DJs. Everybody will say they don't, they all do. They redline it. I wish, and I hope, and I pray, and I continue to advocate for good sound. And I hope that the DJs realize that that red line isn't helping them. And another thing they need to realize is that we have the power out there. So as soon as you start redlining and I hear that distortion coming from the clip light of your DJ console, I go, not today. Guys don't realize that, it's sad. Because actually, if they hit the red line on that, it's square waved from that point onwards. I can't fix it later on. So if the DJ keeps it in a healthy zone, you know, tapping the orange nicely, then I can really open up the PA. And when we do that, it really fills up and it sounds so great. But often, even the international DJs, they have a saying, redlining is headlining. It's very sad that they've gone this route and they just haven't bothered learning anything. And I'm hoping that slowly over time we can, you know, educate the surroundings and the more people know, the better their shows become.
Yeah, look, a lot of it's, most of it's stressful. You know, it's always with these events, there's a lot of moving parts. I think, you know, for us booking artists out of flying, you got a big component of artists flying out of 1 or 2 flights out of South Africa. The biggest stress is like that any of those flights get cancelled, because then you're pretty done. You know, you can't really fix that. So they have to come in on the day and they have to leave the next day. But I think, you know, always the big stressful thing is always ticket sales, making sure that people attend. You know, you spend a lot of money on these events and prepping for them, and you need the attendance. So it's great that people showed up. You know, I think from a production side, we're heavily reliant on the plug and play team, which has delivered a really great job. So I don't think we had a lot of stress there. That was easy. You know, we're dealing with a good service provider. Pulled in some freelancers. Definitely a big part of what we had to change this year was the marketing, and I think that was, we delivered like really solidly on the marketing.
Yo, what's good, Sound of Summer family? Namibia's biggest beach festival is back, and this year we're celebrating a decade of dance. Let's talk about tickets. General access. You get full access to Savannah Main Stage and Coke Studio Stage, as well as all general bars, general toilets, and as well festival grounds. VIP. Next level comfort. Think express entry, private bars, and the best views of the main stage. Plus, you get special access to the Savannah Jetty Stage. Because let's be real, you earned that upgrade. And my personal favorite, the Backstage Pass. Now these are for the real Namib Ragers. Think Keine Musik and Major League Vibes. Exclusive access behind the DJ, complimentary drinks from our sponsors, private bars, food platters, and front row magic. No better experience at the festival.
As you all know, Savannah Sound of Summer is the biggest summer festival in Namibia.
The coast, the crowds, the summer takeover.
Sunsets that hit different and nights that go way too far.
And this year, we have more than 8 international headliners flying in.
Plus multiple stages for every squad.
Owens, there's a Savannah main stage, Coke Studio, Amapiano, and Afrotech stage, and the Jetty stage, all in one festival.
World-class production that makes you feel like you're overseas.
Sound that hits your chest.
Lights that make you feel like you are in a music video.
Backstage with complimentary food.
And drinks from our sponsors.
Ish, and backstage moments you definitely won't post.
Now this is where the lucky ones flex wristbands that nobody else has.
Where you bump into DJs like it's casual.
It really gives main character energy.
But even outside backstage,
the vibes are undefeated.
Vandaag tot nacht, die ding bly aan.
So guys, plan your trip.
Plan your crew. Plan your stories and your reels.
And definitely plan to catch feelings.
You know, the overall marketing was pretty good. And then I think, you know, like, just making sure the venue looks good and it, you know, the sponsors really came to the party in terms of, you know, especially Coke and Savannah, you know, with their decor of their areas. So that was really, really great. And then obviously MTC with the buses and branding of those buses. So I think we elevated the overall look and feel of the event and the venue. Yeah, I'm trying to think where else. yeah, you know, it's always difficult getting good artists and seeing how the crowds react to them. You know, music is changing all the time, and you need to stay, you know, within the trends of what people like. And I think we a few things will change next year, or this year. But I think it all kind of worked out, and we delivered on every aspect. I think our bars were under a lot of pressure, and that's something we need to work on. You know, people in Namibia like to drink, so we need to try and figure out how to make that process a little bit more smoother. Maybe putting some more areas down that can serve. You know, we're very restricted in the space of that tidal area there, so you don't have a lot of space. But I think the food we delivered, a great food, was definitely record sales, because it was, you know, we had good service providers. So yeah, I think, you know, we can better ourselves with the bars.
It's the visas. They were the most stressful because the process of applying for it and the process of waiting for it, that's the stress. You sit in a line for about 3-4 hours because you can only submit 5 visas at a time. And I remember we submitted 18 visa applications. So you submit 5 and then you have to wait again and then 5 again. So that's like 5-6 hours of your day. After that, the waiting period, it's supposed to take 7 days, but with Home Affairs, it's about 14 to 30 days. And I'm actually happy that we did submit it like a month in advance. So I remember I was in Swakop and there were 3-4 visas still remaining in Windhoek. It was really stressful to get them, but we got all our paperwork in time. Everyone came in with no stress. Thank you so much to the people at the airport as well. And you know, the nice thing about all the paperwork and stuff is that the officials knew the artists. So they called me and they were like, I see Zakes there, can I throw in a picture or two, you know? And I was like, it's fine, I can grant you that. Yeah, that to me was also very cool.
I think people just don't understand it's a lot of logistics, you know? I mean, most of the times people see us there in like our plug-and-play shirts or like our Namib Rage shirts and think we're just there to look cool, but actually we're dealing with fires. We're dealing with fires, guys. Like, we're dealing with like stock running low. We're dealing with like a Jenny shutting off. We're dealing with a DJ being late because he decided to go quad biking when he shouldn't have. Yeah, man, there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of risk management. You know, this is something that I tell people all the time. Like, event planning is more risk management than anything. You always have to know how to manage your risks and make sure that you always have a plan W for if plan A doesn't work.
And for me, the most stressful was also the second stage, the coke stage. Yeah, you know, sometimes people are stressed and then forgot things in Windhoek, and then we're on the coast, and then, yeah, because some of the roof parts was missing, so we had to make another plan to get that roof up. Struggle with the canvas, it was really stressful because client was standing there and just waiting on us, but we were still thinking and seeing how we can make it work. But yeah, it worked out eventually.
It's the day of the event when I picked up the artists from the airport, and they took a long time to get out of immigration because, like I said, a lot of people attended the festival that day, and that's the only airport in Walvis Bay, in the coastal area. Also, it's the only flight that comes in on the day, so you can imagine like a full flight of people. So we spent like an hour just waiting for them, and when they got out, I remember Zakes went when he lost his suitcase. So that to me was so stressful because remember, our shops in Namibia close at 12 in the afternoon, and they have shops that are like 24 hours or open for a longer time. So when he got out, he was actually chilled about it. He was so chill. He was like, it's fine. And I was like, in my heart, I'm like, no, it's not fine. I started stressing, I'm not gonna lie, because I was like, this guy has to perform at a festival. We can't find his suitcase. What are we gonna do? How are we gonna get it? How is he gonna perform? You know, everything of his personal belongings is in there. And I believe I called my boss, and I even we made a joke about it and told my boss that Zakes can wear his clothes and stuff. And I feel a few minutes after that, they called at the airport, they called his name and they said, we have your luggage. So that was the most stressful thing for me.
That evening, standing there at 2 o'clock in the morning, After a long day of putting up screens, finally seeing it switch on and there's no issues with the screen, it was a big relief. I mean, I was super stressed before going into it because we've never done this size of a production for Sound of Summer, so it's something new that we were trying and we pulled it off.
Stressful moments for me. I was at the gate. I was stationed at the gate at the main access point. So there was a time between 5 and 7 when people were wanting to come in. Performers were performing inside and they wanted to get in. So they were kind of like overrunning the gate. I had to step in, the security had to step in just to form a line so that we can say, everybody will get in, just give us 5 minutes, just because they were overpowering the scanners. And that was one of the most stressful for me at Sound of Summer this year. The other one was having to run between the top-ups. You have to go from the gate, you have to go to VIP, you have to go to the main top-up. They are far in between, so you need to walk or run. That was also a stressful part.
I will never forget when we were on the group, and then I think it was Stefan that said, Gami got chopped. Gami needs help. Gami needs help because he was tossed in the sand. And no offense to Gami, Gami's a pretty big guy. So to have that thought in your head that Gami got chopped in the sand by somebody. And then later, I think it was 30 minutes after, he pulls up to the coke stage and he's like, oh, who's it tallest? Jingna. I was like, oh, it's Jingna, maybe. Yeah, I think that was the funniest moment. Anything else?
I think from everybody else in the team, when I was always checking out the group, I wouldn't say stress, but there was a lot going on, You're shooting, you check message that somebody chops Gami in the sand. I'm like, who's chopping a big guy like that, I wish I saw that. And then I saw in the morning, one at the Coke Studio stage, the speaker said bye, and they were stressful to the DJs because the DJs she was Kandea, she was really playing a very good set, and then this one of the Psalms went. But the good thing about, shout out to Kandea, she was not like one of those DJs where, oh, it's not working now, I'm gonna throw tantrum. She really went through nothing is happening.
Another funny moment is always just seeing how the black crowd reacts to Celso when he jumps on the decks. So I don't think people really expect the kind of set that he's about to play when he plays, So I think it was also a very, very crucial set because he played after mass music, and as a white DJ, people are going to think that you're going to come there and play uns, and you're going to ruin the vibe. But he took the vibes and he took the vibes to the next level, guys. Come! Celso, you won, bro. You won. You have nothing to prove. You owe us nothing, bro.
I think when I was standing on the main stage and Zakes Patrini was playing, and you looked at the crowd and the actual production and how good the stage looked and how good the sound sounded and how people really enjoyed it. Someone like Zakes is the music's emotional, and it's just like the look on people's faces and how they appreciated for us doing sound and these events, when you see the appreciation of people, it's very rewarding, and that's why we do it. We do these events for the people on the dance floor.
My highlight, not per se at the festival, my highlight, like I said, was just taking the artists back and what they were saying. Some of them said they've played at festivals, but they've never played at a festival like Sound of Summer, with the production, with the screens behind them, and when they saw people reposting their videos, that to me, imagine an international artist telling you that your festival was one of the biggest and best festivals they've ever played at. That to me was the highlight. It just showed that everything we've planned for, everything we've sacrificed for, stressed for, was seen by people and they appreciated it.
And I just think we wanted to do something different, something that you don't just see every day when you go to a festival, especially in Namibia. Yeah, I think just to do something different. really to give that wow factor. By that time we were already exhausted, but I must say that seeing the final product in that final last day of setting up, when the sun went to go set, when you saw for the first time how the product actually looks, makes you really appreciate the work that you have done, and you feel proud of yourself that all the preparation has been coming on for so long, it finally worked out. So it's a very proud feeling.
It was really good to see everything came together, and you know, structure-wise, it was beautiful. Especially where the stage was this year, December. It was at a different place and it was bigger, so it was really cool. It's the first time me myself, that it's a long way with Namib Range. This was bigger. It was really, really nice.
I think that was when I stood in front of the stage and Zakes came on and the crowd went wild. I was like, we did that. I was like, okay, kudos to us. And then I had to run because then I had to go back to work. But I saw like 5 minutes of his set and I was like, looking around and I was like, this is why we do it. That was the moment for me. I was like, we made it. It was all worth it just for this hour-long set of Zakes.
My proudest moment, I don't know if I should say this, but like on the day there was another event happening, you know, and fair enough, you know, people have different tastes. I mean, the industry is big enough to have more than one event on the same day. I think the worry was also just that we might end up taking a hit on our attendance, but I think seeing so many people at each and different stage, all the stages were filled to the max. I'm talking Savannah main stage, I'm talking Coke Studio stage, I'm talking the Jetty stage. All those stages were packed. All those dance floors were packed. And people were having the time of their lives. And I think that's honestly the most rewarding part when you're in this industry, man. Knowing that you put your heart and your soul and you grind for this thing, and knowing that people actually just having a good time, you know, that you actually curated an experience that made people forget about their worries, forget about the fact that they're going to be broke in January, and they're just there in the moment, man. Big shout out to Coke Studio stage. That stage was a jump. I've never seen that many people in that small side of the beach, and they were all just having a jaw, guys. Like, yo. And a big shout out to all the beautiful women that came out. Oh my God.
It's in the way we move. Fire, fire. Yeah, heat wave in the room. So you meet me there whenever I'm with you. Fire, 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 fire. We're burning up the room.
The Sound of Summer. A lot of people actually came to me and said that this is the Sound of Summer that they would have actually attended. So, yeah, they gave reasons like a lot of people are fans of mass music, which is also another international act that we had on the Coke stage, and Zakes Bantwini, of course. So a lot of people were fans of those guys, and for I don't know what reason they didn't make it, but they said that this was the Sound of Summer.
I was nervous what were people going to think, but yeah, I think after the first hour or so, a lot of compliments came our way, and I think people were really impressed with the setup. So
another different thing that we went about this is the partners we got on board, you know, getting an MTC to come and sponsor these buses, to make sure that they are the network that gets people home safely. I think that's also very important.
Yeah, like I'm just really proud of us as an AV company, and for me it's very, obviously I've just joined this business, right, as in management, and I'm very proud of what the team has achieved, especially from where they came. You know, Guy and them bought a bunch of speakers, they had no clue what they were doing. But seeing how fast they're learning and the ideas they're having, and it's like it fills my heart with joy, man. It really does. And obviously this is one of our own festivals. We own it. We partnered with other companies and things like that. So it's important to grow those things, and we supply ourselves with our own work, and we don't take from the industry, we add to it. And I think that's an important, a key element that we need to all add to this industry. And if we do, we'll have a beautiful industry at the end of the day, where young engineers like Caleb and Guy can really like sharpen their teeth and be able to like become a lot better than I ever was.
I believe teamwork makes the dream work, and without teamwork this festival would not have been as successful as it was, because we all had so many different parts to play.
What we planned on doing with the marketing did what it had to do and achieve what it needed to achieve. Also, that Sound of Summer as an event property is massive. I think it's to the point where you don't really need to do that much when it comes to marketing to sell the event to people, because everybody plans on attending it. I think as soon as people turn 18, not like me because I snuck in, but like as soon as people turn 18, the first thing they want to experience is Sound Summer. And also just, we're good at what we do, and I mean this in the most humblest way, like we're good at what we do. We're good at what we offer people. People just mess with us. They love the brand. They love what we stand for. They love the fact that all in all the smoke and mirrors clears, like we just want to push dance music and dance culture. It's never been a thing of like we cater to one demographic in Namibian youth or like youth. We just want to push dance culture, whether that's Afro house, whether that's Afro tech, whether that's amapiano, you know, even funky house. I don't even know if that's a term, but shout out to Jared, whatever Jared plays, that funk stuff, yeah, Namib funk, shout out to him. But yeah, man, just dance music in general, like, and I think that's what we're always gonna do for the next 10 years. Push dance music, push dance culture. And yeah, man, give people a dope-ass event.
And it really just meant so much for me to see how our hard work finally came to play, and you know, it could put a smile on so many people's faces, especially people that traveled like from far distances just to attend this festival.
We did it, guys. I'm proud of the fact that we pulled it off.
Yeah,